Hi everyone, my name is Gigi and I'm going to guide you through a practice today that will focus on activating the core, strengthening the core, and stretching the core. I know that when I first started practicing yoga, I always thought that engaging the core meant this area right here, and what I usually did was I used to suck that area in towards my spine, and I thought that that's what I was supposed to be doing. But later, as my practice advanced, I slowly started to learn that the core is a little bit lower than where we think it is. It kind of sits around the pelvic area and wraps around all the way to the back as well. And so those are the areas that you really want to focus on anytime you hear the cue engage your core. So we'll talk about that today in further detail, and we'll learn how to access it, how to activate it, and then we'll go through some poses that will encourage strengthening of the area. Whenever you're ready, find yourself either on a mat or a blanket or a towel that you have at home. We're going to start in butterfly, laying down on our backs. Butterfly pose is when you have the soles of your feet together and your knees are out to the sides. Gently rest your arms down by your sides. And take the few moments at the beginning of practice to settle into your body and to connect with your breath. Start with a natural rhythm of your breath and bring the hands onto the belly. Start to think about what it means to engage your core and to find your center. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. On your next deep inhale, feel the breath go in through your nostrils, expand through your chest, and fill the belly up. Feel the belly rise like an inflated balloon. Exhale, drop the belly, let the air come out through the lungs and out through the nose. Inhale through the nose, into the chest, into the belly. Exhale, the belly drops, out through the chest and out through the nose. Inhale. And exhale. Continue to breathe in this motion at your own pace. Feeling the breath go in through the nostrils. Feel the chest and the belly expand with the inhales. And feel your body settle and relax with the exhales. Final round of breath. And let go of your controlled breathing. Come back to a natural rhythm of breath. Maintain the connection between the body and your breath. Continue to let your inhales find space in the body, and let your exhales find settling and comfort in the pose. Slowly slide your hands a little bit lower than your belly. So your thumbs are going to sit underneath your belly button. You're going to create the shape of a triangle with your hands. So your pointer fingers touch and your thumbs touch in the shape of a triangle. And your fingers are going to point down towards your pubic bone. The heels of your hands are sitting on your hip bones. This is the area that we're going to focus on. This is where we're going to find our core activation. There's a muscle that sits around this area called the transversus abdominis, and it extends from the ribs to the hips and wraps around your torso, front and back. The importance of this muscle is that when you activate it and you engage it, it acts as a natural corset for the body. And that helps give better support and stability in your body, and it helps to protect your spine. That's why we're going to focus on this area today. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Press the soles of your feet together and carefully reach your tailbone towards your heels. And then draw your sit bones in towards each other. And notice the shift that just happened in your pelvic area. I'm sure your hands moved slightly. They're very, very subtle movements. But what comes with these subtle movements is a lot of core engagement and stability within your body. Release the contraction, let everything drop back down to the ground. So that was your transverse muscle, transverse abdominis muscle. That was you getting introduced to it. Let's try that 2 more times. This time, I want you to focus on your hip bones, which are the bones they should be around the heel of your hands if you have your hands in that triangle shape. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Press your feet in to each other. Now reach your tailbone one more time towards your heels and watch what your hip bones just did. They lifted up towards your sternum very slightly. Now draw your sit bones in towards each other like you did in the beginning and watch what your hip bones just did. They sank back or sank in towards your spine. Release. And we'll do this 2 more times. Notice all the tiny subtle shifts and changes that are happening in this area. And watch what your hip bones are doing. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Press the feet into each other. Reach your tailbone towards your heels. Watch what your hip bones did as they lifted up towards the sternum. Draw the sit bones in towards each other and feel your hip bones sink in towards the spine. Release. Last round, deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Press the feet in together. Reach the tailbone towards the heels and draw your sit bones towards each other. And release. Take a deep breath in as you place the hands on the outsides of your thighs and carefully bring your knees up to the sky. Keep your feet touching the ground. So you're reclined and your knees are bent, but your feet are still touching the ground. Reach the arms out to your sides in a T shape. They're shoulder level. And face the palms down onto the ground. Walk the feet to the edges of your mat and let your knees drop in towards each other into fallen bridge. Take a deep inhale. With the exhale, gently sway your knees over to the right. Inhale the knees back to center. Exhale, drop the knees to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. And exhale to the left. One more round. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Bring the knees back to center. And take your knees out, away from each other. And walk the heels in so that now the heels are underneath your knees. Your knees are open hip width apart. So everything is in one line. Your hips, your knees, and your ankles are in one line. Now that we learned where our core is and how to activate it, let's get into some warm-ups so that we can start to strengthen it. Inhale the arms up to the sky. So your fingertips are pointing up to the sky. And roll your shoulder blades into the ground. Find the activation of your core. So think of it as either reaching your tailbone towards your heels and then drawing the sit bones in towards each other. Or you can think of it as hugging your hip bones up to the sternum and then in towards the spine. So feel that muscle and that engagement in your core. On your inhale, keep the engagement nice and strong and lift your right leg up until it's 90 degrees. So your knee is over your hip and your shin is parallel with the ground. Exhale, keep the engagement in the core as you drop the right foot down to the ground. Repeat for the opposite side. Keep the engagement in your core as you lift the knee up to a 90-degree angle and drop it down. Stay strong in your core. Lift the leg up, the right leg up, one more time. And slowly and carefully, with the core still engaged, bring it down to the ground. Left leg comes up. And exhale, slowly and with control, bring it down. Take a deep inhale, reach your fingertips long to the sky, and on the exhale, drop the hands down to the ground and release the contraction and your engagement of your core. Slowly windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Inhale to center, exhale to one side. Inhale to center and exhale to the other. Come back to center. Inhale the arms back up to the sky. So your fingertips are pointing up to the sky. Roll the shoulder blades back into the ground. And this time we'll start with our knees up. So bend the knees 90 degrees. Your knees are over your hips and your shins are parallel with the ground. Engage the core. Hug the hip bones up towards the sternum and in towards the spine. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, with the core still engaged, slowly drop the right heel, tap it to the ground, just the heel, and then slowly bring it up. Keep your core nice and engaged. Drop the left heel to the ground, tap the ground with the heel, and carefully bring the leg up. Repeat this one more time. Bring the right heel, tap the ground, bring it up. Take your time. As long as you're still engaged through your core, that's all you want to focus on. Left leg comes down, bring the left leg up. You can continue with just the legs, or we can bring the arms into the equation. Drop the right heel and the left arm overhead, and then bring them back to center. Drop the left heel as the right arm falls overhead, and bring it back to center. One more round. The right heel taps, the left arm is overhead. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, the left heel taps the ground and the right arm is overhead. Exhale, come back to center. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, and on the exhale, wrap the arms around the shins or the backs of your thighs. Hug your knees into your chest and slowly rock from side to side. Find the center, so come back into stillness. Place your hands on the backs of your thighs. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, gently rock yourself forward and then rock back. We're going to rock back and forth like this 3 more times. And you're going to land in tabletop at the middle of your mat. So now you're in tabletop on your hands and knees. We'll start with flat feet first. Your wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. Take a deep breath as you drop the belly into your cow breath. Tailbone rises to the sky, crown of the head rises. Exhale, find your cat as you arch through the back, chin to chest. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Come back to a neutral spine, so a nice flat spine. We'll get some rotations in through our neck. Take a deep breath. Lengthen through the back of your neck. So reach your crown of your head away from your tailbone. And on the exhale, look over to your right. Inhale to the center, down to the mat. Exhale, look over to the left. Repeat 1 more time. Inhale to center, look to the right. Inhale to center and exhale to the left. Come back to center. Deep breath in, and on the exhale, drop your chin down towards your chest. And then carefully slide the chin over to the right shoulder. Inhale to center and exhale to the left shoulder. 1 more time. Inhale to center, exhale to the right. Inhale to center and exhale to the left. Bring the neck back to a neutral place, and continue to reach the tailbone to the back and the crown of your head forward so you can maintain a nice long spine. Reach your right arm out to the side and pretend that you're trying to screw and you're trying to unscrew a light bulb. So we're trying to get some rotation into our shoulders. We're finding external and internal rotations with this motion. Make sure to continue breathing with your motions, inhaling as you open for external and exhaling as you find your internal rotation of the shoulder. 1 more round. And bring the right hand down to the ground. Inhale the left hand out to the side. And again with that screw and unscrew motion. Inhaling as you find external rotation of the shoulder. And exhale as you find internal rotation. Last round. Place the right hand down on the ground. Walk your hands forward about 12 inches, not 12 feet, farther from where they were. Reach the right leg out to the side. Tuck your back toes, so make sure that your back toes are tucked. Take a deep breath in, find length through the spine, and as you exhale, shift your hips back towards your back heel. Find a nice stretch through the inner thigh and the inner hip. Inhale, shift forward. Bring the right leg in. Extend the left leg out to the side. Take a deep breath in as you find length through the spine. Make sure your back toes are tucked. And exhale, shift the hips back towards the back heel. Deep inhales, find space in the body, and your exhales help you settle into the pose. Deep breath in as you shift forward, bring the knee back into center. We'll find some spinal balance here. This is a way for you to engage your core while we're in kind of this tabletop position. So we learned how to engage it while we're reclining. Now we're going to learn how to engage it while we're in a tabletop position. Find the spinal balance by first inhaling the right leg up, hip height. Point your toes down to the ground. Try not to let your hips shift open. You want your hips to maintain parallel with the ground. Find your core engagement, so hug the hip bones up towards the sternum and then in towards the spine. And if you'd like to add a little bit more, you can inhale the left arm up by your ear. Palm faces the inside. Take a deep breath in, reach long, and on the exhale, underneath the body, bring elbow to knee. Inhale, expand. Exhale, elbow to knee. Last time, inhale, expand. Exhale, elbow to knee. Bring the hand and the knee back down onto the ground, and we'll do the opposite side. The left leg comes up, hip height, toes pointing down towards the ground. Engage your core. And reach the right arm up if you'd like an extra challenge. Inhale, reach long. You can stay here, or with the exhale, bring the elbow to the knee. Round through the back. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, knee to elbow. Last one, inhale, reach long. Exhale, knee to elbow. And place the hands, the knees to the ground. Find your child's pose. Toes touch, knees wide on the mat. Hips sink towards the heels. The torso comes down to the ground. Forehead to the ground or a block. If you don't have blocks, you can place books or pillows underneath your forehead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Draw your armpits towards the ground. Reach your hips towards your heels. And continue to take deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Stay low to the ground in child's pose. Take a deep breath. And with the exhale, walk the hands over to the right for a side body stretch. Press your hands into the ground as you reach your hips back. Continue to breathe. Find length and space in the inhale and settle in with the exhale. On your next deep breath in, walk the hands to the top of the mat and exhale as you walk them over to the left. Find a nice side body stretch on the right side of your body. Press your hands into the ground as you shift your hips back. Inhales and exhales. Slowly walk the hands back to center and then roll your way into tabletop. Your fingers are spread nice and wide when they're on the mat. Tuck your toes. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, hover the knees off the mat an inch. Engage the core. Reach your hands towards your knees and your knees towards your hands. One more breath here, and on the exhale, bring the knees down on the ground. Flip your hands so that the top part of your hand is on the ground. So the top part is on the ground. We'll start with the right hand and very gently sway from side to side, back to forth, whatever feels good. Do the other hand, so your left hand. The top part comes onto the ground and very gently sway it from one side to the other, back and forth, whatever feels good. Very little pressure. And come back into tabletop. Take a deep breath in, tuck your toes, exhale as you hover the knees off the mat. One more inhale. With the exhale, take the chest towards the thighs, lift the hips up to the sky, and then shift them back. If you need to bend your knees in your first downward dog, go ahead. No problem with that. Press your hands firmly into the ground like you're trying to push the ground away from you. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Straight through the arms without hyperextending your elbows. Draw the shoulders away from the ears and reach the crown of your head towards your hands. Reach the chest towards your toes. The hips reach back and your heels reach towards the ground. Even if your knees are bent, that's okay. Energetically reach the heels towards the ground. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Slowly walk the hands towards the feet into a forward fold. Bend your knees a lot. Let your chest rest heavy on your thighs. Relax the neck. Let the weight of your head traction your spine. You can grab your elbows with your hands, create a pendulum with your body. You have the option to sway from side to side if that feels good. Slowly roll your way up to standing. You can walk your hands up your legs as you do that. Engage your core to protect your lower spine. The head is the last thing to come up. When it does, inhale the arms up and exhale, arms come down by your sides. And let's review our mountain pose. It's a very strong pose and a really good basis for a lot of the balancing poses that we do, and it definitely reminds you to engage your core. Standing nice and tall, root firmly into your heels and all surfaces of the foot. So try not to be too far out on the outer edges or too far into your inner edges. Make sure the entire surface of your foot is touching the ground. Reach the heels into the ground like you're trying to drive a nail into the ground. This activates your quads. It gently lifts your kneecaps, but make sure that you have a nice gentle bend in the knees. Avoid hyperextending the knees. Now we come to your core. Activate the core. Hug your hip bones up to the sternum and in towards the spine. So you reach your glutes or your tailbone down to the ground and you draw your sit bones in towards each other. It's a very subtle movement. So it's not Sucking your belly in. It's all the way down here. Hug the hip bones up and in. Inhale the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, let your shoulder blades settle into your back as your palms open forward. Your chin is parallel with the ground, and the crown of your head reaches tall to the sky. Remember these points of engagement, especially when you're in plank, because plank is essentially a horizontal version of mountain pose. And we're going to visit tree pose today. So remembering what your legs and your core feel like are going to help you stabilize in that balancing pose. Let's warm up through some sun salutations. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Keep your core engaged as you come with a flat back all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, straight back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your plank. Your feet to the back of the mat, your hands to the top of the mat. Shift your weight forward. Your shoulders are over your wrists. Nice flat back, straight line from the crown of your head to your heels. Avoid shifting your hips too far up or dropping them too far down. Your shoulders are pulling away from each other. Engage your core. The hip bones hug up to the sternum and into the spine. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, come all the way down to the ground. Inhale, find your baby cobra. Press your hips and the tops of the feet into the ground. Working through your back muscles. Press as you lift the chest, the shoulders, and the head off the ground. Your gaze is down towards the mat to protect your neck. On your next inhale, come up and exhale into a downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Deep inhale and exhale. Shoulders away from the ears. Heels reach to the ground, hips shift back. Your chest reaches towards your toes and your hands are firmly pressing into the ground. 1 more breath in and exhale. Gaze between the hands. Walk the feet towards the hands this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Engage the core as you come up with a straight back. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the arms down to your sides. We'll do 2 rounds of sun salutations. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, engage the core, flat back all the way down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. With the exhale, find your plank. Hands to the top of the mat, feet to the back, shift forward, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, come all the way down or halfway for your chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. 2 more breaths in downward facing dog. Inhale your gaze between the hands. Exhale as you walk your feet towards your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, engage the core as you rise with a flat back all the way back to tall mountain. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale the arms down by your side. Last round. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Engage the core, come down with a flat back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, find your plank. Hold in plank for 1 inhale and 1 exhale. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, come down all the way or halfway into your chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Shoulders away from the ears, heels reaching to the ground. Inhale the gaze between the hands, walk the feet towards the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Engage the core with a flat back, come all the way back to standing. Arms come up, and exhale, the arms come down by your sides. Let's shake all of that out. So that was working through your core through a sun salutation. We did it while we stood in mountain. We did it as we came up and down through a forward fold, and we engaged the core in our planks. We stretched the core with our back bends, which were the cobras and the upward facing dog. Now let's challenge our balance by activating our core. And if the cues for your hugging your hip bones or your reaching your tailbone don't make any sense, sometimes it helps to put your hands in a fist and put the hands right in that inside of that triangle that we talked about earlier. So right there in front of your pelvic bone. You want to stay strong in your legs like you do in mountain pose, and then you want to press your pelvic bone into your hands. When you do that, you don't shift forward. So this isn't what we're trying to achieve. It's a very subtle, very gentle movement. You hold firm with your hands and you press firmly with your pelvic bone into your hands. And that achieves the exact same thing as all the other cues that we talked about. It engages your core, gives you more stability through your trunk. With that in mind, and with your core engaged, find your mountain legs. Root through your heels, strong with the quads. We're going to balance with tree pose. Shift your weight to your left leg and bring the heel of the right leg in towards the ankle. Reach that right knee out to the side so you can get a nice opening through the hip. Stay strong in your core. You have the option to bring the inside of the foot to the lower part of your leg, or you can slide it all the way to the inner thigh. Again, this is where your core comes in real handy. You want to maintain the strength here, and that helps keep you stable and strong in your balanced poses. Everything hugs in towards the midline. So your foot is pushing into your thigh is pushing into your foot, your core is engaged. You have the option to place your hands on the hips in prayer, or you can reach them up to the sky. Take deep breaths in, find a drishti focusing point. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Stand strong through your mountain leg. Reach that heel into the ground, keep the quad active. With your next inhale, reach long with the arms, and as you exhale, bring the arms and the leg down to the ground. And shake it out. Shake both legs out, shake your arms out. And we'll do the opposite side. Standing firm with the legs one more time. Reaching through the right heel, engaging that right quad. We're going to do the same thing that we did. So whatever variation you took on the other side, take it here. Heel to ankle, sole of the foot to the inside of the leg, or all the way into the inner thigh. Continue to stand strong with this leg. Your heel is reaching into the ground. You have an active quad. Your core is engaged. So again, put those fists in front of your pelvic bone and press firmly into that area without shifting your hips forward. Your knee reaches out to the side. but your foot pushes into the thigh and the thigh pushes into the foot. Hands, hips, prayer, or up to the sky, whatever feels good for you today. Find a stable, non-moving, drishti focusing point. And continue to connect with the breath. Remember, you can always use a wall if you're having a hard time balancing. With your next inhale, reach long through the hands, and on the exhale, bring the arm down and bring the leg down and shake it out. Let's make our way back down to the mat. We'll flow through a sun salutation to find our way back down. When you're ready, inhale the arms up. Exhale, core engaged, flat back. Come down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep your core engaged, nice flat back. Exhale, find your plank. Shift forward. Shoulders over the wrists. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, come down to your right forearm. Keep that core nice and engaged. And then come down to your left forearm. You're in a forearm plank now. Keep the core engaged. Keep it really active. Reach your elbows towards your feet and your feet towards your elbows. Continue to breathe, find strength through your core, find strength with your breath. One more final deep breath in, and on the exhale, very gently and with control, drop the hips and the legs down to the ground. Flatten the tops of your feet, find your Sphinx pose, press into your forearms, draw your shoulder blades in towards each other, and reach your belly button towards the front of the mat. Oh, this is a really nice back bend. It's one of my favorites. And it helps work through the core muscles that are in your back, but it also helps stretch your front core muscles after all that work. Take a deep breath. On the exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, look over the left shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, bring the chin down to your chest. Inhale the gaze back to center. And on the exhale, slowly and carefully, come down to the mat. Make a pillow with your hands so that one hand sits on top of the other. And then rest the forehead down onto the ground. Bend your knees so that the tops of your feet are up to the sky. And very gently, windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Inhale when they come up to center, and exhale as they come down to the side. Find stillness with the legs, and release the legs back down onto the ground. Slide your hands so that they rest by your ribs. Take a deep breath in. Slowly and carefully roll your way into your tabletop. Keep your toes tucked underneath you and walk the hands close to your knees, and then carefully walk them up the legs as you come to a kneeling position. So we've covered activating the core while we're reclined on our back. We covered it in a tabletop position. We covered it as we were standing and while we were moving. Now we're going to practice engaging the core while we're in a kneeling position. The same things apply. You want to hug your hip bones up to the sternum and in towards the spine. Again, if this is a better connection for you, you place the fists where the pubic bone triangle is, and you gently press in towards the hands without shifting forward with the hips. Again, keep your toes tucked. Nice and strong with your core. Bring the hands out in front of you, shoulder height, and the palms face each other. Stay strong in your core. Keep that engagement going. Take a deep inhale, find length through the spine, and on the exhale, shift back, maintaining a straight line through your upper body. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, shift back. Inhale, come forward. If it helps relieve some tension in your spine, you can place your hands on your lower back. And gently come back. Inhale, forward 2 more times. Exhale, shift back. Inhale, come forward. Last one, guys. Exhale, shift back. And inhale, come all the way forward. Bring your hands down to the ground. Flatten the tops of your feet. Sit back onto your heels and slide the hands back behind you. It doesn't matter which way your fingers are pointing, as long as it feels good. You might need blocks behind you or the stack of books if that's what you created for yourself. Take a deep inhale, and on this exhale, shift your hips up to the sky for a nice gentle back bend. If it feels good on the neck, you can drop your head back. But if it doesn't, you can always create that double chin to help protect your neck from straining in this position. Shoulder blades reach towards each other. Your chest rises up to the sky. Press through your hips. Take one more inhale here, and on the exhale, drop everything down. Sway your legs out to the side and in front of you. So you're in a seated position with your legs straight. Take a deep inhale as the arms come up overhead. On the exhale, with a nice core, remember, hug the hip bones in, up and in. Keep that core engaged, nice flat back as you come all the way to the ground. Also accessible to you is walking the hands on the ground or on your legs until you're able to forward fold comfortably over your legs. Maintain a nice straight back. Take a deep breath in and exhale, let it out. If you need to bend your knees because you have tight hamstrings, you can do that. Place a blanket or blocks underneath the knees. One more deep breath in, find length through the spine, and with the exhale, allow yourself to completely drop down as far as your body allows. Round through the back, release the neck, release the head. We're going to make our way back up to seated. You can do it either the same way you came in by walking the hands back, or you can engage the core one more time. So reach your tailbone away towards the ground, and then hug the hip bones up to the sternum and in towards the spine. With arms reached, come all the way back up. Nice and strong core, flat back, and exhale the arms down to the ground. Slowly and carefully, make your way back down to the ground. You can either grab onto your legs and rock your way down, or you can challenge your core one final time by keeping the soles of your feet on the ground and your knees bent. Reach the arms up in front of you, nice flat back with your core engaged. Hug the hip bones up and in. Very slowly keep your feet rooted into the ground. Keep a nice straight back. Core is still engaged. Come one little bit down to the ground. With control, Bring the arms all the way up to the sky and keep them rolling all the way until they fall on the ground overhead. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, slide the arms back down by your side. Walk the feet in towards your hips. Again, your heels are underneath your knees, and the knees are aligned with your hips, one line all the way through. Let's find our last stretch for the front of our core in bridge. Take a really deep breath, and we're going to roll through our bridge. We're not going to come up in one swooping motion. So first we press firmly into our feet. Lift the hips off the ground first, so your pelvis comes off the ground first. Then slowly roll through your lower back, your middle back, and your upper back. And on the exhale, come down the same way. So you start with the upper back, and then the middle back, the lower back, and then finally the hips come down to the ground. We're going to do this 3 more times. Rolling through. First, you press into the feet, lift the hips up, and then the lower back, and then the middle back, and then the upper back. And you exhale, coming down one little piece at a time. And for the next 2 rounds, feel free to incorporate the arms as well. So as you inhale and you roll up, you bring the arms up to the sky, and then bring them all the way down to overhead. And as you exhale, you roll the spine down as the arms come up to the sky, and everything lands down on the ground with the arms down by your side. 1 more round with or without the arms. It's totally up to you. Inhale. And exhale. Extend the arms out by your sides, shoulder height, so they're in kind of a T shape, with the palms facing the ground. Inhale, the knees up. Your knees are 90 degrees. Your shins are parallel with the ground. Take a deep breath in. With the exhale, slowly roll your knees over to the right for a spinal twist. If your knees can't come all the way down to the ground, then you can put blocks or pillows or cushions underneath to help support them. Sometimes it helps to put a block in between the knees. Take your gaze over to the left. And take deep breaths in and deep breaths out. The inhales find space in the body, and your exhales allow you to settle in. On your next inhale, bring the gaze up to the sky, and with the core engaged, use your arms to help you for support. You can press your arms into the ground. Carefully bring both knees back to center. And as you exhale, keep the legs rolling all the way to the left for a spinal twist on the opposite side. Take your gaze over to the right. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, bring the gaze back up. The knees come back to center. And as you exhale, wrap the arms around the shins or the backs of the thighs, whatever is accessible. Hug the knees into your chest as tightly as you can. Maybe you can curl into a tight ball. Play with the possibility of grabbing onto the feet. Maybe bring the forehead as close as you can to your knees. Give yourself a nice hug. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And take an inhale into this really tight space. And as you exhale, release everything and let it drop down to the mat. Extend the legs straight onto the ground. Release the arms down by your side. Tuck your shoulder blades into the ground. Take a deep breath in and exhale, sigh it out. Drop into the ground and let everything settle in. Final resting pose, Shavasana. Allow this time to be a good connection between you, your mind, and your body, and most importantly, your breath. Place your hands on your belly one more time, and let the hands slide down to your core, the area that we focused on throughout our practice today. Continue to take deep breaths in and deep breaths out throughout the body. And if you notice any unnecessary clenching or any tension in your physical body, release it and let it go. There's no need to hold on to anything. And take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let everything go. Whatever doesn't serve you, release it and just let it go. Maintain the connection with your center, with your core, with your strength, and with the essence of who you are. invite some gentle movement back into your body. Start by wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, and gently swaying your head from side to side. And as you take your next deep inhale, raise the arms all the way overhead and get a full body stretch, like you're just waking up in the morning. Carefully roll over to your side, whatever side feels good, and use the arm of that side as a pillow for your head. Gently press yourself back up to seated. We'll take our hands together in prayer at heart center. One collective breath in and an exhale, sigh out. I hope that this practice helped you find strength, helped you connect to your core, helped you connect to the essence and who you are. Hopefully you can use this stability and strength not only in your actual yoga physical practice, but also as you move forward in life. Let's raise our hands to our third eye. May your practice cultivate enlightened thought. Hands to your lips. May your practice cultivate enlightened speech. And hands to your heart center. May your practice cultivate an enlightened heart. From my heart to yours, Namaste.